The following presentation summarizes a study conducted for the Washington State Department of Commerce to evaluate and assess the effects that the operation of Seattle-Tacoma International Airport might have on its surrounding communities. My name is Joseph Pelbner, and I am the lead consultant for this study. This study is an objective and independent investigation of existing data and is not to be construed as anti-airport. To receive a copy of the full draft report, you may download it from the Department of Commerce website. The area studied included the 6 cities that surround the airport: Burien, Normandy Park, Des Moines, Tukwila, the city of SeaTac, and Federal Way. The total grant for this project was $600,000, including funds for both a consulting team and for Department of Commerce oversight. The 6 cities in the study area encompass over 237,000 people and over 61 square miles. During an 8-month investigation, the consultants spoke with over 200 people, gathered over 400 technical references, and have made 70 recommendations. The study investigated 8 general areas over a 22-year period from 1997 through 2019. These were air quality, noise, environmental effects, mobility, light, socioeconomics, public safety, and public health. For each of the 6 cities, the study researched over 65 data points for each year of the 22-year period, over 8,500 data points in all. It is important to note that the 6 cities in the study area are not equal and experience these effects to varying degrees. The main negative effects were from noise and air quality, but there were also some positive effects, including economic benefits from the airport, as well as its convenience and accessibility. Since the 2000 census, the airport has grown faster than its surrounding area. The study area, King County, and the Seattle metropolitan area have grown between 22.8 and 29.4% since the 2000 census. On the other hand, during the same period, the number of passengers at the airport grew by over 75%, and the number of air carrier operations grew by almost 81%. But there are also some gaps in the data where information wasn't always available or was inconsistent for things like air quality, public health, and other socioeconomic metrics. The data is also augmented with a number of community concerns regarding noise and some long-term unresolved issues with prior mitigation packages. These community concerns were highlighted by Burien's successful legal challenge in November 2019 to the 250-degree turns that had increased the number of overflights directly over the city. A key component in community compatibility is a report called the NPIAS. This is a report made to Congress every 2 years to support the funding of our national airport system. On page 1 of this report are 8 guiding principles, including one addressing community compatibility, which states, airports should be compatible with surrounding communities, maintaining a balance between the needs of aviation, the environment, and the requirements of residents. This study has found that additional work is needed to appropriately monitor and evaluate the effects of the airport's operation on surrounding communities. 7 general recommendations were made, and for each metric discussed in this presentation, the highlighted ones are shown with a white background, but all are equally important. To fully evaluate the effects of the airport's operations, the consultants suggest that the study area be expanded to include areas and neighborhoods to the north and northeast, so the airport is actually located in the center of the study area. Additionally, it is recommended that the Port of Seattle play a more active role in any follow-up study. Noise was the most often reported concern by the communities, especially in Burien, Des Moines, Normandy Park, Federal Way, and parts of the city of SeaTac. Some of this was due to the implementation of the next-gen procedures, which concentrate flight tracks into a narrower area. Some of it is also attributable to the airport's growth. Noise concerns include sleep disturbance, learning disruption, lower property values, and other concerns. Of the 10 recommendations regarding noise, it is suggested that another noise method be used that does not rely on the DNL averaging approach. The airport and the FAA should also mandate that all arrivals follow an arrival glide slope of not less than 3 degrees. Also, any future flight track changes should be accompanied by an environmental review, and the airport's voluntary noise abatement procedures should become mandatory. Regarding air quality, the airport is one of several contributors, including stationary sources such as some types of manufacturing, and mobile sources, which include cars and trucks. And while the Seattle area is technically in compliance with the EPA standards, that statement can be misleading because of the inadequate network of air quality monitors, most of which are not located close to the airport, which is represented by the red rectangle in the graphic to the right. There are other concerns that require additional research, including ultrafine particulate matter, also known as UFPs, the source of reported black soot in the area, and other concerns. There are also gaps in the air quality data, some of which may be outdated and some that are not comparable between different air quality models. So additional study is needed to fill in these gaps. Of the 5 air quality recommendations, it's important to improve the location and number of working air quality monitors in and around the airport. Because of the cost and time involved, an interim method would be to deploy an array of inexpensive commercially available monitors, such as the Purple Air Monitor, which could indicate general trends and help inform where permanent monitors should be located. But it should be noted that monitors like the Purple Air Monitor do not measure for UFPs. Mobility includes cars, buses, light rail, bicycles, and even pedestrians. SeaTac Airport is one of the few U.S. airports that some people can actually walk to. As with many urban areas, traffic has been an increasing problem in the Seattle region. One cause is that roadway network improvements have tended to favor transit improvements over increasing roadway capacity. Congestion has gotten worse at several intersections around the airport, from I-5 to Highway 99 to Des Moines Memorial Drive, and more shown here. As you know, traffic is also a challenge in many other areas, including downtown Seattle, the U District, Bellevue, and Redmond. Weekday peak period congestion is a problem across the region, including around the airport, and the airport is especially busy during holiday periods like Thanksgiving and Christmas. What isn't clear is if ride-sharing services may be increasing pickup and drop-off traffic. Parking at the airport also warrants additional study, since there were concerns of employees using park and ride lots and garages instead of the dedicated airport employee parking lots. And while the main parking garage has increased its capacity, there was no data on where parkers were actually coming from, so more study is necessary to determine overall parking demand. To help guide future network improvements, the study recommended 23 intersections for annual monitoring. These range from I-5 to Des Moines Memorial Drive to Highway 99 to Air Cargo Road and many others seen here. There were a total of 25 mobility recommendations made, many of which were for further study and analysis, such as an annual parking demand study for the main parking garage, as well as for employee parking lots, and an overall airport mobility survey to see how airport users get to and from the airport. A similar study is recommended for the consolidated rental car facility to improve its traffic flow, and a targeted annual traffic monitoring system would help to create a database to help address congestion issues. A license plate analysis would help determine how the main parking garage is used, and even an annual pedestrian count could help make it safer for people walking to the airport and to the light rail station. The variety of public and private parking facilities in and around the airport should be listed in the database that shows both capacity and use patterns, and it is suggested that the Port of Seattle prohibit their employees from parking in nearby residential areas while working. The airport has taken many positive steps to protect area streams, floodplains, and wetlands. More monitoring and testing is needed to ensure the long-term protection of these environmental assets, However, there are some concerns, including leakages from underground storage tanks both on and off the airport. On-airport underground storage tanks are shown here. Many are associated with fueling facilities. And as mentioned earlier, there were numerous community reports of a black residue on the ground and other surfaces. Even the long-closed Tacoma smelter may still have long-term soil impacts. For the 6 recommendations covering water quality, groundwater, and soil, further study is needed to determine the effect that air pollution may be having on surface water. And the previously mentioned concerns about black soot warrant additional independent analysis to determine its composition and its potential source. Light intrusion was not determined to have a significant effect. The airport is making ongoing improvements by replacing old metal halide lighting with energy-efficient LED fixtures. The study recommends the continuation of the replacement of these older fixtures in order to reduce glare and improve energy efficiency. The effects of crime vary by city in the study area, and there was no known link to the airport. While FBI statistics show the overall crime rates are declining, some areas like Tukwila have a higher incidence, perhaps due to a higher concentration of retail uses. While there are understandable concerns about human and drug trafficking, that data was insufficient to determine local incidents, and since many crimes go unreported, data may not be an accurate reflection of the actual experience in each city. With the exception of Normandy Park, the overall crime index is above average for the study area, while violent crime is highest in Tukwila. Property and vehicular crime also tended to be higher in Tukwila, followed by Burien and the city of SeaTac, but the rate was lower than that of King County. Tukwila property and vehicular crime rate may be related to the concentration of retail in and around South Center Mall. Human trafficking is a global problem, often associated with large metropolitan areas with international airports, but without data at the municipal level, it is not possible to track any effects in the study area. Hotel rooms in the study area are concentrated in the cities of SeaTac and Tukwila, but that does not prove a direct link to human trafficking. However, the airport does appear to be aware of the issue because they have displayed many signs throughout the terminals. Drug trafficking is also a global problem, but changes such as legalization of recreational and medical marijuana use have altered drug enforcement in many communities. Still, there is no known link with the airport. In fact, there are many data gaps that make tracking the effects of criminal activity difficult. Information at the local level would aid in tracking human and drug trafficking concerns, as well as crimes such as vehicular vandalism. And the previously mentioned crime indices are not aggregated at the county or state level, making comparisons difficult. Of the 4 public safety recommendations, a public safety overlay district is suggested to aid study area cities in collaborating on crime prevention, and the adoption of CPTED principles, which stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design, can help make many different types of developments safer. Like public safety, the incidence of various public health effects vary from city to city, and there are no known links to the airport. Some health issues have decreased, such as accidents, cancer, and heart disease, while others have increased, including suicide, access to medical care, and poor health habits. Some of these could be related to other issues, such as ethnicity, income level, or genetics. The study area life expectancy, however, is almost equal to that of the state average. Incidents of cancer and heart disease are declining, although higher than those in King County. Incidents of heart disease, however, are about equal to the state and national averages. Incidents of Alzheimer's disease have decreased slightly, but vary from city to city. Similarly, incidents of stroke have decreased in the study area, except in the cities of SeaTac and Tukwila. But the overall study area rate is about the same as the average for the county, state, and the U.S. The incidence of respiratory disease is also declining, but is still higher than the King County average. The only exception is in Normandy Park, where the incidence is lower. Finally, death due to injury is equal to or higher than the King County average, depending on the injury type. As with other metrics, there are data gaps. For instance, King County reports health statistics by combining the cities of SeaTac and Tukwila into one group, and does the same thing for the cities of Des Moines and Normandy Park, making it impossible to evaluate data at a finer level. Health statistics were not reported by census tract or enumeration district, making it hard to track health issues at a more localized level. Of the 11 public health recommendations, it is suggested that the study area be expanded to be able to track health in other nearby areas. Health data should also be gathered at a more localized level while still maintaining patient privacy. And the airport's late-night noise limitation program should be expanded and made mandatory to reduce any noise-related stress health effects. As with other areas, the effects on various socioeconomic metrics varies by city, and there are no known links to the airport. There are some positive benefits, such as employment and tax revenues, but there are also some challenges, such as a slower rise in home values and schools being classified in a lower socioeconomic profile. Demographically, the study area trends older, with the exception of the cities of SeaTac and Tukwila. The percentage of minority population with a lower income and without a college degree are also higher than in King County, with the exception of the city of Normandy Park. Students in the study area come from a higher percentage of minority homes, many where English is not the primary language. Students also tested lower in arts and math scores and had higher incidence of obesity and screen time. And while many students suffer from depression and thoughts of suicide, few go beyond these thoughts. As stated earlier, home values have risen in the study area, but not as fast as the rest of the region. Home sale prices are below the regional average, except in Normandy Park. But the study area is not uniform. There are more homeowners in Burien, Des Moines, Federal Way, and Normandy Park, and there are more renters in SeaTac and Tukwila. For office, retail, and hotel rates, the study area is generally a bargain, again except in Normandy Park. Median rental rates trend below the county average, although industrial rental rates are generally above the county average. The unemployment rate for the study area is mixed. It trends slightly above the King County average, but there were no statistics reported for the cities of Normandy Park or Federal Way. But for those in the study area working at the airport, Normandy Park did have the lowest percentage in the labor force working at the airport, and Federal Way had the highest percentage. Despite that, the entire study area's rate of taxable sales grew higher than the King County average, except in Normandy Park, which is predominantly a residential community. Of the 3 recommendations proposed, the consideration of a study area-wide overlay district could help smooth out the negatives and help share the positive economic benefits. In summary, the study found that noise was the primary airport-related concern. Due to data gaps and other issues, additional study is suggested for a variety of metrics that were studied, including air quality, mobility, public safety and health, and some socioeconomic metrics. As mentioned at the start of this presentation, a copy of the full draft report can be downloaded from the Department of Commerce's website. Thank you.